Yes, that is the sound a deflated balloon or a deflated pair of balls. Which probably that's the sound because I feel like I got my balls kicked watching this film. Which I know I'm alone in this because everyone else loved it. But hey, well, I can't say everyone loved it. I know that some people in my chat didn't like it. I know the guys at Dip It didn't like it. I know Fabio, a friend of mine, didn't like it. There's a few others that didn't like it, so it's not everybody. But it has a 7 out of 10 IMDb. Critics liked it. It's a huge hit. It made more money than the first. I mean, the first film made maybe 75 million worldwide. This made, what was it, over 200 million in the US alone? Like, it made a lot of money. Congrats. You succeeded, Tim Burton. You finally got a hit. After how many decades? You finally got another hit. So congrats on that. Sadly, it's on a sack of shit like this, but, you know. Man, I did like Beverly Hills Cop Act Stuff. You know what? Beverly Hills Cop 4, I really did like that one. That was a rare sequel nowadays that I did like. It did have nostalgia. It did have member berries. It did, but you know what? There's a lot of stuff I enjoyed about that film. Not a flawless film, but I did enjoy that one. So I don't hate everything. I just hate this movie. Because I think this movie sucks. I should mention this is a paid request from Vonte. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, reviews, re-reviews, topics, reactions, commentaries, video game playthroughs, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Got CashApp as well. People have asked about those. Links are down below in the info box. And if so, thank you. I'll do it as soon as I can. Fuck this movie. Good night. No, I can't. I like the first Beetlejuice. I did a review of it. I think that's a classic. I think it's very well made. I think it's creative. It's entertaining. It's funny. It was unique. Throughout the years, there was talks of Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian, which at one point Warner Brothers wanted Kevin Smith to write it. But as Kevin Smith said back in the day when he was worth it, haven't we said all we need with Beetlejuice? Must we go Hawaiian? No, you don't need to do anything. But at the same time, obviously that's wrong on my part because it made a lot of money. For a studio that desperately needs to make money because it hasn't done well with other ones. I'm kind of at a loss as to what there is that people liked about it. I'm not bad-mouthing people who liked the film. I'm not. I'm just sincerely asking, as a comedy, what was funny in this movie? I got one laugh. One laugh. And this is spoilers from here on out. When Beetlejuice talked to the one kid and said, "Later, fucker." That was the first and only laugh I got out of this movie. It's not just because he cursed. It was the way he delivered it. Very kind of out of the blue, but straightforward. Felt like one of the most real lines in the movie, if that makes sense. Because with this movie, there are nostalgia berries. Yes. There are member berries. Yes. But, again, there are movies that have done that I've enjoyed. But what it also does is it has a script that felt like 3 scripts put into the movie. You have the script with Winona Ryder having PTSD from Beetlejuice. For what happened, hell, almost 40 years ago. You have the plot with her trying to rescue her daughter from this turd burglar kid who's a ghost, who wants to use her to get back to life. Then you have the script of Monica Bellucci wanting revenge on Beetlejuice and wanting his soul because she sucks souls. Although it's Monica Bellucci, she could suck a lot of things. Maybe even my soul, but other things too. The only reason she's in this is because she's dating Tim Burton. And I like Monica Bellucci. She's a beautiful lady. Loved her and shoot 'em up with... I can't believe I forgot his name. How the hell did I forget his name? God damn it. Just look it up. Can't believe I forgot it. Clive Owen. Didn't even have to look at Clive Owen. See? This movie, man. Some of these movies get to me. Shoot 'em Up, I think it's a very underrated film. She's a beautiful lady. But again, the reason... Because Tim Burton loves to cast his girlfriends. Or his wives. If he was with Helena Bonham Carter, she would have played this role. But because he's with Monica Bellucci, which you lucky fuck, the fact you're with Bellucci, not James Belushi, I mean Monica Bellucci, you lucky fuck. But, yeah, they're dating, so put my girlfriend in the movie. Although again, when I look at Monica Bellucci, I'm like, I can't really blame him because I'd probably do the same thing because hopefully that would lead to a couple weekends of good sex, at least. So congrats, Tim. Smart man, but that plot didn't need to be in this movie. And for a movie that was an hour and 30-some minutes, it felt very clunky to try to fit all this in the same film. When the first film was pretty straightforward. Here's a couple, they died. This new family moves in, they don't want to lose their house, they gotta try to fix it. One release the Beetlejuice, and things go haywire. So they have to fix their mistake of Beetlejuice, who's wreaking havoc, and end the movie. This, it's like 4 episodes of a TV show tried to be put together. The look of the film I wasn't that impressed by. I can appreciate they used some practical effects. The sandworm, it looked like some stop motion effects. But there's stuff I've seen before. That's the thing. I've seen the sandworm before. I thought it was good in the first movie. So I'm seeing it again. The little voodoo pinhead guys that was at the end. Well, it was in it throughout it, but like the little pinhead guys. I've seen it. We've all seen it. Now here's a group of them. Does Beetlejuice now is with accounting or whatever the hell it was? I wrote it down. I'll get to it, but his job, where his job is at. What the hell was his job? Anyway, I wrote it down, so I'll get to it in a minute. Afterlife call manager. And he's like the boss of a bunch of these guys with little pinheads, from the voodoo and stuff. Okay, I've seen that, before in the first one. When people get sucked into the phones. I saw that, the way they were doing it. When Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, they had to try to make these faces to try to steer people. And say, well, we won't do that. Well, I thought it looked better back then than when they try to do it here. I didn't see much creativity in this film with Beetlejuice. When Beetlejuice first meets Winona Ryder, he does the same damn thing where I'm going to chop your mouth like he did Gina Davis in the first movie. Spill your guts? I mean, I guess to be fair, that was new. But him doing the scare and you don't see it, he did that in the first movie. And then I guess to be fair, they did add stuff that was just fucking stupid, like the Soul Train. You get it? Because Soul Train was a 70s thing called Soul Train. So when you get to the Soul Train, everyone's got the 70s dues and the 70s clothes and the 70s music. What was the afterlife? What if I don't want 70s? What if I want 80s? How about get some AC/DC Back in Black, bitches? How about I want some Tupac? Changes, okay? Who says it only has to be Soul Train 70s? Like, why? It's such a stupid, lazy joke. I don't even think Saturday Night Live would cringe enough to make this stupid joke. Barely a joke. The actors either looked haggard, tired, or they're just too old for this shit. The other people, I'm sure they got good paychecks. The cinematography looked like I would see Rob Zombie's The Munsters again. Jenna Ortega, she loves being the emo, emotionless brat. I thought it worked fine for Wednesday. Here, I got tired of her ass really quick. Great, the emo brat. I barely have any emotions, so I'm talking like this. Winona Ryder, you were good in Stranger Things Season 1. What the fuck happened? Michael Keaton, I think he had his moments. I think he did the best out of the cast. There are times, though, he maybe think like he was the drunk uncle staying too late at the party that was embarrassing himself. But there were moments that he did work for me, and honestly, in a selfish manner, I wanted to see more of him. Because maybe more of him would dust a bit more of the cobwebs out. And honestly, I think they should have gone that route. But they kind of make them sporadically appear. Probably a little bit more here than in the first movie, but not too much more. I actually would have preferred a lot more. I would prefer the point of view of Beetlejuice. I really would have. Hell, take a page from the cartoon. I've seen clips of the cartoon. I've never seen full episodes, but I've seen clips. Take a page from that. Just the stuff I saw in that was better than the shit I saw in this. So to get started with the movie, Winona Ryder is now a host of this Ghost House TV show. Where she's with this couple with a dog named Taco. Like, that's like one of your first jokes. They have a dog named Taco. Why don't you just, I might as well call him, I don't know, Hot Pocket or something. And she's a psychic mediator, and she'll show that there's stuff being haunted in this place. But she keeps seeing visions of Beetlejuice, because she has PTSD. Now, I remember the first Beetlejuice, and she seemed perfectly fucking fine dancing with a bunch of fucking ghost football players while she's being floated to the sky. What the hell is this PTSD from? Because the dramas, they're emotionally battered, they're emotionally broken. It seems like with Hollywood, that's the only way they can write characters. Indiana Jones, he's broken and battered. Luke Skywalker, he's broken and battered. Han Solo, he's broken and battered. Jean-Luc Picard in that TV show, like bits I saw, he's broken and battered. Is that the only thing you could think of, Hollywood? Yeah, because you're that fucking lazy. So in other words, folks, when you get old, be careful, because you don't want to be broken and battered and depressing as fuck. That's what's going to happen when you're broke. That's what's going to happen to you. So beware. So she takes medication. She keeps hallucinating about Beetlejuice. She has PTSD. She has a scumbag boyfriend. which we know he's a scumbag, but she doesn't see it yet until the end. She gets a call from her, technically stepmom, Catherine O'Hara. Her dad passed away, which is Jeffrey Jones, who is a pedo. He's a pedo. Not Joe Pedo, not Jet Pedo, a pedo. Not a pedal to the metal, although I would do one on his face. But he likes kids a bit too much, and he had too many of those pictures. A bit too much. That's who Jeffrey Jones is. That's why he's a piece of trash human being. And I did not want to see him in the movie at all. If you don't make a sequel, what you should have done was, he died years ago, you say it in one sentence, and you move on. But you know what they did? They gave him a nice juicy paycheck. And that pisses me off. Because that guy doesn't deserve paychecks. Yes, he'll get residuals from the original Beetlejuice because, I mean, that's the law. That's part of the deal. And at that time, no one knew who he was. But nowadays, you know who he is, Tim Burton? I know you do. That's why he's not in the movie. But first you have this animated claymation bit where, oh, he was taking a plane in a crash. Then he got eaten by a shark. So then I thought, okay, I don't like this, but and you're still giving a paycheck. But I guess this is sort of them giving their feelings of, we think he's a piece of trash human being too. Look at him, he got eaten by a shark. In a very violent way. But still, you gave him a paycheck because in order to use your likeness, they need to pay you. And that's what they did. Then there's a picture of him on walls and stuff. There's a picture of him at the gravesite. Then, and this boggled my mind, his character is technically in the film. He's been bitten by a shark. He has no head. From time to time, there's a running joke where he pops up asking for his wife and where his wife is, Catherine O'Hara. Where he has, imagine no head, and this is gone because a shark bit it. It's like torso, legs, arms, and like it bubbles blood when he talks. That is my wife. What's going on? And the character gets with her at the end and goes in the afterlife in a happy ending. And I'm like, so his character is in the movie? Like an actual character. Like, wow. So I don't know. I did not expect that not only do we have to see his sorry ass and his sorry face, but his character as just throw one line out and move on, and that's it. But no, they didn't want to do that, so I'm sure he got a nice juicy paycheck from it. Fuck you, Tim Burton. Fuck you all for doing that. He don't deserve it. He deserves a gun to his head. And you pull the trigger till it goes click. And not because it started as an empty clip. But that's just me. So, assaulting my eyes with that bit of business wasn't really fun. Then they have this other running joke, which I don't know why. But one of Catherine O'Hara's workers, he walks out in frustration, he falls into a sewer, then he's dead, and he's speaking like French or something, and then he appears like a couple times, and then I don't even remember what the hell happened to him later on. I really don't. Like, why was this even a thing? Because, trust me, we got a lot more of the waiting room, because remember the waiting room, folks, in the first movie? Well, in case you missed that, there's a shitload more of those scenes. because that guy's in there. Then Jeffrey Jones is in there, or what's left of him. Then Catherine O'Hara's in there because yeah, she dies because she accidentally got snakes bit her, and she thought they were now poisonous or something. So she's dead, and she's in the afterlife. And Catherine O'Hara did. I liked her as an actress. She did not. There's not one single laugh I got out of her. She just seemed really annoying in this. I think just it's the dialogue or something. She just did not. I mean, to be fair, she wasn't really meant to be a likable character in the first one. But that's why it helped when you had characters like Al Baldwin, like Gina Davis's characters that you could have a bit of heart for. Here it's supposed to be Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega, but Jenna Ortega's being such a bratty biatch that you just want to knock her upside the head. And Winona Ryder's like, she felt off in this movie. Maybe that's just me. I can't explain it. She just felt off. She sounded off. She just, I don't know, she didn't sound natural in her dialogue delivery. I don't know what the hell that was. Maybe it's just me, but I just like, I think this is actually a pretty bad performance from her. I really do. And again, I know Stranger Things season 1 was a long time ago, and I didn't mind season 1 of that. I thought she was rather good in that. What the fuck happened? And yes, of course, Al Baldwin and Gina Davis, their ghosts are not in this because, number one, aside from the Al Baldwin, what's going on with take that out of it. How would you explain ghosts getting older? Because it's been, again, almost 40 years. Al Baldwin and Gina Davis do not look like how they do back in 1988. How are you going to explain that? That's fair, and they do mention it that, oh, there was some kind of loophole they found, and they were able to cross over. So they do have a happy ending. Instead of being stuck there for I think, it said it was going to be 200 years. There's a loophole, they got to have their happy ending. Okay. And again, I get why. Because how you don't, again, ghosts. Although with the way it is today, I'm surprised they didn't do Gina Davis with the digital de-aging stuff. I honestly thought that's what they were going to do. I mean, I knew before watching she wasn't in it, but when this was first announced, I went, oh no, I don't want to do de-aging stuff. But they did not. So okay, I get that. But again, it's just like, okay, I get that, but that was like the big heart of the first movie, was those type of characters, and when you don't have that, you realize how important those characters were in the first movie. And those type of characters were. That's what really centered the movie, was those two. However you feel about Al Baldwin nowadays, which trust me, I get it. They were really good. They worked well together, and they were really the center of that movie. And when that's gone, there's a lot missing, and they could not fill it. Not with Winona Ryder, definitely not with Jenna Ortega. This is the other thing. You don't have anyone, quote, normal in this movie. Everyone is a wacky character. Winona Ryder is I would consider her, even the first movie, a bit of wacky. Maybe that's the wrong word, but a bit eccentric. So I would call her eccentric. Jenna Ortega is a bratty emo eccentric, I would say. Or if she was supposed to be the normal one, holy shit, this movie was in trouble. So when you have nothing to center the gravity, ease it down, there's really no one for me to root for in this movie. They tried because, Winona Ryder had a husband who died in the Amazon or whatever. The daughter doesn't like her because of, you say you can see ghosts, but you can't see dad. Fuck you. I'd be like, fuck you! You know, stop being in movies. What is... They did like 5 people, and then they'd be like every other goddamn movie. So anyway, they're trying to have these characters develop, trying to. And Danny DeVito is in this as a zombie janitor. Just because. Because it's a Tim Burton movie. So you gotta have Danny DeVito. I guess. And something breaks out of these boxes as Monica Bellucci, who staples herself together, and she's a soul sucker. She can suck your soul out and you crunch down. And now she wants Beetlejuice. Later on, you see a backstory of Beetlejuice and how he died. Where... I forgot what year it was. Beetlejuice was a grave robber. Met Bellucci. They got together. She needed to do this thing where she wanted to be immortal or something, so she was going to kill Beetlejuice and poisoned him. But thankfully the poison was a bit slow because Beetlejuice had enough time to chop her up into pieces before he succumbed to the poison. Oh yeah, this is all done in like dubbed... Was it Italian? I think it was Italian because I read that Tim Burton did that because he's a big fan of Fellini movies. Well, yeah, he's Beetlejuice, the undead, so, you know, they can speak multiple languages. Yeah, but I don't see anybody else speaking multiple languages that I remember. And they're in the undead portion, too. And what the fuck does that mean? Like, you go to undead... So if I die, I can speak Japanese? Because I'm in the undead now? That's... I don't know. It was self-indulgent. It wasn't funny. That's the thing. It wasn't that funny. It's like, okay. And then there's one bit later on, he speaks in Spanish. Okay. Didn't think it was funny. Did you think it was funny? I didn't think it was funny. Like, these are the jokes. This is the humor. Oh yeah, and the way Monica Bellucci puts herself away to Bee Gees' Tragedy. I went, really? The Bee Gees? This reminded me of that shitty Dark Shadows movie with Johnny Depp. Where they just started throwing, because it's 70s, so they start throwing all this like 70s music in there. And I don't know. Definitely wasn't as creative as the music they used in the first Beetlejuice film. So then we're introduced with the Jenna Ortega, which she's a brat and she's a bitch. When she answers her phone, it says alleged mom. When she hears about her grandpa dying, the fact she says, well, he was the only semi-normal person in this family. I'm like, yeah, if he liked kids that much. If you like kids that much, then I guess, well, for Hollywood it's semi-normal, so I guess for Hollywood people, yeah. That's their semi-version of normal. To like kids. But yes, I know, it's supposed to be the character. Stop referencing this goddamn character every 5 minutes. Because anytime I hear the character, I think about what happened in real life, so it takes me out of your fucking movie. So Afterlife Call Manager is what Beetlejuice is at. You got the shrunken head workers. Did you get it? There were shrunken heads in the first movie. Now there's like 10 of them. And why was Willem Dafoe in this movie? I like Willem Dafoe, but why was he in this film? He plays a cop but he was an actor who did stunts, and a live grenade went off and he died for it. Okay? And he keeps saying he's a cop, but people go, he's an actor. Okay? Where's the joke? Hello? Jokes are in this movie, right? It is a comedy, right? There are jokes in this movie. They have the funeral for Jeffrey Jones' character. We get to see his face yet again, his fat ass, sorry ass face. Oh, and at the funeral, they sing Deo, the choir. Which I also find, I know this wasn't intentional, but some of the choir was kids, so I think it's a bit sick irony that some kids are singing a funeral to a guy who in real life is a pedophile. I mean, anyway. They sing Deo, because that song was in the first movie. He said Deo. Here I come and he wanna go home. And I'm sitting there going, so you were really reminiscing about how, remember that song where we danced to and then someone took our faces and threw our ass away? I remember that. When we could have died. More of Jenna Ortega as an emo brat. More of Jeffrey Jones being a shark victim talking to some people. Beetlejuice tells, we see his origin story. More of Winona Ryder's BS producer boyfriend scumbag who's like dressed like he's fucking Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction, including his little rat tail ponytail. The guy worked with Catherine O'Hara, he falls to his sewer, he's dead. For some reason there's a running joke with him. Why? Also, that's another thing. Like, Beetlejuice, his goal is he wants to marry Lydia. He wants to marry Winona Ryder. I'm sitting there going, why? You tell me this is a guy that's been around for hundreds of years. Even this, he's been another almost 40 years. And you're telling me the one time he saw Lydia, now all of a sudden he's just obsessed with her forever. Which he probably spent, what, 5 minutes with her in the first movie? Okay, the first movie is a spur of the moment. Hey, you guys hire me, get married. Maybe it'll lead to something else of him getting out of there forever. Like, to be this obsessed with her, it just, whatever. Like, still? Because then it just becomes the same stuff as the first movie. Oh, he wants to marry her. Then the finale is him trying to marry her. And people trying to stop his marriage. Like the first movie. Same thing. Lydia's boyfriend does the stupid Beetlejuice thing. They go into the model. And again, in the first film, 2 went into a model. Beetlejuice does his shenanigans trying to steer. Here, 2 people go in the model. Beetlejuice does his shenanigans, tries to steer. All he needs to add phrases like, this is your safe space. Because it's 2024. When you talk about fucking safe spaces. No, you know what the safe space is? You away from me before I punch you in the face. There's your safe space. Okay? Right here, right there, and right there is your safe space. Because you don't get out of my face, it ain't going to be a safe space anymore. Because his fist will go to your stomach and will rip your goddamn spine out. Then it'll be no more safe space. Okay? It'll just be an empty space. Or I'll put my foot in your ass. Okay? There's your safe space. Okay? safe for my sanity is to kick your PC ass. Who? Society. Not specific. I just type safe space. Such a stupid thing. God, I hate the safe space shit. That means you're a pussy. That's what it means. It means you're a wimp and you're a pussy. You're a sissy. You're a pussy. Ugh. Stop being a pussy. How about that? Oh, I said there was no creativity. I'm sorry. There is a bit where Beetlejuice makes a baby version of himself that crawls around and farts. Farts, 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 farts. So that was creative. You know. It's not my kind of humor. It's not what I like to see in movies, let alone Beetlejuice movies. But hey, if you want to see a baby Beetlejuice fart, there you go. If you want him to say the juice is loose, I'm like, that's false advertising. O.J. Simpson ain't in this movie. I thought that line sucked in the trailer. It sucked here. Jenna Ortega has this love story with this kid, and then you find out the kid's a ghost. Just now, Jenna Ortega can see ghosts too, because her mom saw a ghost. And then he tricks her at just doing this thing, and the kid wants to do it because he'll get his life back if you exchange your soul. So then Winona Ryder needs Beetlejuice's help, and Beetlejuice says, "Fine, marry me." And she's like, "Okay." And then they get there. They open the door and get through. Then almost as soon as they get there, they separate anyway. Winona Ryder gets to her daughter. Her dead husband, Jenna's dead dad, happens to be there. And they try to have this conversation. Pretty much him saying, you two should drop this stuff and be friendly with each other. Oh yeah, the soul train that takes you to the afterlife is literally people in 70s costumes dancing to 70s music. This is a Soul Train. Remember Soul Train? The TV show Soul Train? Remember that? We keep seeing Jeffrey Jones' character. Why is he a running joke in this movie? Then the one laugh I got is when the dirtbag ghost kid thought he got one over and got the stamp approved to take her soul. But as Beetlejuice, he slides a thing that says you're shit out of luck, and then he looks at the kid and goes, "Later, fucker." And then the kid drops. That's the one laugh I got out of this movie. I'm like, why can't more of the movie be this? That's why I would tell you, Michael Keaton, like, if you give him more time to get the cobwebs off and the other stuff, like, I want a movie just of him. Just him and him alone in the afterlife. That's what this movie should have been. No Winona Ryder, no Jenna Ortega, no Monica Bellucci. Well, if you want Bellucci, fine. No Willem Dafoe. Or you know what? Fine, just keep Willem Dafoe, Michael Keaton, and Bellucci. Just have the movie about them. Beetlejuice, deal with these things. What his day-to-day life is. In the afterlife. Dealing with Willem Dafoe. Maybe they have a past with each other. And then Monica Bellucci wants to suck his soul, so he's going throughout the afterlife. I would, if you had to do a sequel, I would have preferred that. Not this. And that would have been very different. And we're seeing more of the afterlife, so it could be more creative, it could be more interesting, it could be much more... I did not see the creativity in this film. Now, in terms of the look of the film, like I think of the first film, I go, wow, I remember that scene where that one guy who was flat like a pancake, is telling them, and there's literally an opening that he goes through that only fits him and him alone. Or you know what, man? I remember those weird faces that they were made when Alec and Gina were going to steer people. It was like eyeballs on the fingers and the weird stuff. Or oh, I remember that weird looking creature that was very small that's going to I now pronounce you. Wow, that was really cool. Oh, remember Beetlejuice? He turned that weird thing that did the thing, and the two people flew out into the ceiling. Into wow, that was really cool. He doesn't do any of that. I'm not saying I want to repeat it. I'm going to say, like, there's no creativity of that. That's my point. That's what pissed me off about this. It's lazy. It's not funny. So by this point, Catherine O'Hara has died because she's an idiot. Beetlejuice finds Lydia. They're ready to get married. Once again, a marriage thing, just like the first film, a marriage thing. The folks get sucked into phones. So I guess you say that's different, to be fair. But like, okay, you know. I could take or leave that moment. I find it funny that he's so worried about, like, he wants to get married so badly, but he takes 5 minutes to stop and go, okay, you're all going to sing a song for me. And it's MacArthur Park. Which I can't help it. Anytime I hear that song, I always think of the Weird Al Yankovic parody of Jurassic Park. I can't help it. Anytime I hear that song forever, Jurassic Park in the dark, all the dinosaurs are running wild. Oh, they're not like Gumby or whatever. Oh, I wish they were like Barney. I can't. This is, but anyway, MacArthur Park. And I'm sitting there going, dude, if you're in such a rush, why is this here? Oh, it's here because remember in the first film, there was a moment where the characters stopped and danced and sang a song. But that actually made sense in that movie because it was Gina Davis and Al Baldwin wanting to steer these people, but not wanting to hurt them. So it was to balance it out with, or compare, they're trying to steer them, but they're doing it in a friendly way that will hopefully steer them, but not traumatize. Okay, they're doing a dance. Now, hopefully that one thing that grabs them, pushes them, steers them, but they're still doing a dance. Compared to Beetlejuice, who was ready to drop people and could have killed people and stuff. There was a point to that. It was a fun scene, but actually there was a point in the story for that. Here, if Beetlejuice did not do that, he would have won. He would have won. But just the time it took for these people to just stand and dance and MacArthur Park in the dark, vanilla ice cream, whatever the fuck the lyrics are. It took like 5 minutes. And then Willem Dafoe shows up, the cops show up, Marco Bellucci shows up. They all show up. And I'm like, again, you could have married her and been fine and dandy, and so it makes Beetlejuice look like more of a moron, more of a dumbass, and just a pointless nostalgia wank fest. Because, hey, it doesn't fit the story, it doesn't fit anything. And it wasn't funny, by the way. Well, again, what was funny in the movie? What? Please tell me the scenes that were funny in this comedy. Where was the creativity? The most likable character in the film for me was Bob. Poor Bob. The little pinhead that had the voodoo head that had to be the decoy of Beetlejuice. He was the most likable character for me, and I felt sorry, and he dies because He's like he's afraid, and then she soul sucks him. Poor Bob. I liked Bob. And he had no dialogue. He was the most likable character in the movie, Bob. Justice for Bob, goddammit. Just hashtag. If you got to 45 minutes and 12 seconds, put down in the comments hashtag justice for Bob. To let me know you watched this far. Please, hashtag justice for Bob. Damn. Just like Pillow Pants in that, what was that movie? About the Udi loves and the balloon adventure thing. Hashtag justice for Pillow Pants. Hashtag justice for big old Bob. Big bad Bob. Pretty much what happens is, like the first movie, Beetlejuice got attacked by a sandworm. Here, Monica and the scumbag boyfriend get attacked by a sandworm. That's like the same ending. So then Catherine O'Hara gets in the afterlife with Jeffrey Jones. Jenna Ortega, she moseys around and gets with another boy. And Winona Ryder still has nightmares. Has nightmare of a baby Beetlejuice. That has another nightmare where Beetlejuice is sleeping next to her. So she still has nightmares. Nothing about that has changed. So she's still going to have visions. She's still going to have nightmares. And she's going to have still this kind of PTSD. Ideas as if maybe they're going to do a... I mean, with how much money this movie made, I would not be surprised if there's another one. I mean, this made $400 million worldwide. It cost $100 million to make. But, I mean, it made 3 times the budget. I mean, that's a lot of money. And, again, do not be surprised... Well... just to be fair, if they did it, it'd probably be a bigger budget, and then the novelty of seeing a Beetlejuice movie after 40 years won't be maybe as much of a novelty, so then it wouldn't do as well. So maybe they'll take that into account, and hopefully there won't be any more movies. Let's say if you like this film, that's fine. If you enjoy this film, that's fine. I thought this was an awful sequel that never needed to be made. Obviously, I'm alone in that because it made a lot of money. People liked it. You liked it. That's cool. That's your prerogative. But I don't think this is a sequel that's going to be remembered a year from now. Meaning, I could still rewatch Beetlejuice and enjoy it. I don't see a lot of people rewatching this film. I don't see this having a rewatchable factor for people. I would not be surprised if, as the years come and go, 1, 2, 3 years from now, people are going to rewatch it and go, I don't know, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong. Very well could be wrong. Even if I am, who cares? It's my opinion. It's their opinion. Like what you like. People will say the same. Hey, people say the same thing. Beverly Hills Cop 4, Axel F, and I like that movie. Fine. I got Beverly Hills Cop 4. You got Beetlejuice 2. We're both happy. Congrats. I can only be honest. I thought this film sucked. It's easily in my top 5 worst films of the year. You know, I saw Joker 2 recently, and I hated Joker 2. I honestly kind of hated this more. I honestly did. I know that may not make sense to people, but this pissed me off more. I think just because how overrated I think it is, and the Jeffrey Jones stuff pissed me off, and just all the other like issues where I'm like, what the fuck? That's just me. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.